Right now at 5, what's next for the Yates Center community after a fire destroyed a nursing home on Friday?
We have another day of red flag warnings, wind advisories, and very gusty south winds. We'll look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, candidate confusion in Goodman, Missouri ahead of the April election.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now not St. Patrick's Day.
No.
It's Tuesday, March the 18th.
Yes.
And we are halfway through the month of March. This year, I've already heard it's starting to go by a little too fast.
It really is flying by, in my opinion. I don't know if that was like the harsh, longer weather that we kind of had in
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, the last few years, though, have really zoomed by. I really was hoping this year might slow down a bit, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And maybe it's also the winds just kind of pushing us right along as well. It's another very windy day for us. Let's start with that live look at downtown Pittsburgh. Got a few clouds here and there. Otherwise, we are still mostly clear, but we'll have clouds gradually increasing through the morning. MoDOT here, 20th and Rangeline, also looking fairly good as well. Now, we do have red flag warnings once again for everybody except Benton County through at least 10 o'clock again tonight. So once again, we want to emphasize absolutely no outdoor burning. In any outdoor activities you're doing, you need to be extra cautious. Again, especially if you're in the construction field, you're towing a trailer, anything that can generate sparks, you want to be very careful because as windy as it was yesterday, it's windier today. We have wind advisories through at least 8 this evening. I need to change that. I apologize. But they go at least through 8 o'clock this evening. And that is because we're looking at winds today out of the south gusting upwards of 50 miles an hour. And in some cases, maybe even a little higher than that. We'll have partly cloudy skies, maybe even moments of mostly cloudy skies. And those very gusty winds push our temperatures once again very warm out there. Some of us maybe even into the low 80s, which means another fairly mild overnight, and then we start to cool down as we head into our Wednesday thanks to a low pressure system. Not cool. This is a little warmer than our average high. We should be about 60. We're 63, both Joplin and in Pittsburgh, and across the area. Winds already increasing this morning. They're not waiting to pick up this afternoon. They are doing so now. We have those temperatures low to mid 60s to start the day today. And considering some of you were in the low 30s yesterday, it's a 30-degree jump in temperatures. Again, partly cloudy, maybe some mostly cloudy skies, highs upper 70s, maybe some low 80s, and again, very windy. South winds sustained 20 to 30 with those gusts pushing 50, maybe 55 miles an hour. It will be very windy again tomorrow, but as I mentioned, our temperatures begin to drop, and yeah, there's still that 4-letter S word possible tomorrow as well. We'll go over that with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the Yates Center, Kansas City Council holds a special meeting to discuss forward action after a fire destroys a community nursing home on Friday. Yates Center residents came together with a shared purpose to rebuild and revitalize the community's nursing home after it was destroyed in a fire. Now, last night, local community members gathered to discuss strategies and ideas for the future of the Yates Center Health and Rehab facility, which fire officials say engulfed in flames after a brush fire broke out on the south end of the building. No one was injured in the fire, and residents have made it clear they will stop at nothing to ensure the nursing home is rebuilt.
Probably trying to get all the entities together, the city, the county, the nursing home, state of Kansas, federal grants, just bringing everybody together and trying to get everyone on the same page, going in the same direction.
I watched 12 years of my career go in less than 16 to 12 minutes. I had to help my people, and our team was amazing. The community here was amazing.
We have more on last night's meeting on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. A group of adults with disabilities presented a check to some Southwest Missouri veterans. They had been collecting donations for a week and managed to raise more than $1,800. They're associated with Easter Seals Midwest in Joplin. The nonprofit says the occasion shows anyone can be a community leader.
We find opportunities throughout our week to give back to our community. And the veterans are really important to our country. And so those we support wanted to give back to them in some fashion. So we reached out to Walmart and they let us come in and set up to collect donations.
Easter Seals has been helping people with disabilities and their families for more than 100 years. And there's some confusion surrounding the upcoming election in Goodman, Missouri. Two candidates are running against each other in two different positions. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on how the situation has raised some questions on what's allowed.
For voters in Goodman, Missouri, there might be some confusion when they look at their April ballot. J.R. Fisher and Clay Sexton are running against each other for two different positions. Both candidates are running for Goodman mayor and for South Ward alderman. The McDonald County Clerk's office is pointing voters to a Missouri statute that disallows a party candidate from running for more than one office. It's allowed on this ballot because it's a nonpartisan municipal election. We called the Missouri Secretary of State's office to see if they could clarify what's allowed in this scenario. They said the statute the county clerk's office cites is meant to address state and presidential offices, not necessarily ones at the local level. They said the election in Goodman is a gray area. The Secretary of State's office adds it's too late for any ballot changes because absentee ballots have already gone out. If the same candidate wins both positions, the state office says typically the position that candidate didn't want would be left open as a vacancy. They say an appointment to that position could be made, and it wouldn't necessarily have to be the runner-up. How that position is filled is left up to town or county rules. Reporting in Goodman, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
You can find the full text for the Missouri statute the McDonald County Clerk's Office is referencing on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Pitt State women's basketball is in the Elite Eight after defeating Southwest Minnesota. We'll have the details. Plus, a federal judge is questioning President Donald Trump's administration over the use of a 200-year-old wartime act. And Chris returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh State women's basketball plays its final home game of the year last night. It's an NCAA tournament regional final, which means a win would send the Gorillas to the Elite Eight for the first time since 2016, and a loss means their season would be over. Pitt State women's basketball, though, at home for that Sweet 16 matchup against Southwest Minnesota State in front of a packed crowd. Winner, again, moves on to the Elite Eight. Now, the Gorillas fell behind in the first half of their first two NCAA tournament games, and last night was no different. First quarter, Bree Stoltzman drives to the lane and scores. Then a little later, Audrey Swanson connects from deep. The Mustangs open up an 11-point lead at halftime, 49-38. But in the third quarter, here come the Gorillas. After a quiet first half, Grace Pyle hits the pull-up jumper to bring the Gorillas within 8. A little later, here's Pyle again, this time for 3. And the lead is down to 7. Still in the third quarter, Savannah Campbell to power her way inside, gets the foul and the basket. Lead is down to 5. Fourth quarter, just over 2 minutes left, and Corinna Gerber hits a floater. We're tied at 79. Next time down the floor, Pyle pulls up from the free throw line, and Pitt State has the lead. Girls up by 3 in the game's final seconds. Mustangs need a triple, but the shot is blocked by Corinna Gerber, and that is it. The Gorillas are headed to the Elite Eight for the first time in 9 years as they take down Southwest Minnesota 85-82 in the Central Regional Championship.
They've earned every bit of it. I tell them all the time, that they haven't done anything today. And I'll tell them that again in a couple days. They get to enjoy this for a little bit, and they get to really enjoy the reward for some of the efforts that they have put in lately. But I'm just so entirely proud of them.
We're going to switch gears to college baseball. It hasn't been the start to the season that Missouri Southern was hoping for, but one Lion earns an individual honor. Missouri Southern senior Kyle Moore is named MIAA Pitcher of the Week. This comes after he doesn't allow a single run over 7 2/3 innings of work across 2 games. Those were against Drury and Arkansas Fort Smith. Moore allows just 4 hits, strikes out 3, and walks 2 while facing 26 batters. And with Kansas high school basketball state championships wrapping up over the weekend, we get the long-awaited release of several all-conference teams. Here's a look at the girls' first and second team All-CNC honorees. Brad Herlocker from Girard is the coach of the year. His Lady Trojans were co-champions with Colgan. Each of them made their respective state tournament. First team features Jacayla Davis from Colgan, Erica Boatman from Girard, Ellie Helms from Riverton, Galena's Riley Boys, and Marley Stout from Frontenac. On the boys' side, your coach of the year is Matt Meir, who helped lead Galena to an undefeated regular season and 4th place finish at state. Speaking of Galena, not a surprise to see Jack Perry as a unanimous first-team honoree. Frontenac's Vinnie Collier and Colgan's Brady Batega are also unanimous first-team selections. Scott Moore from Girard and Jacob Grant from Baxter Springs round out the first team. Well, still to come, a common spinal condition can turn to be painful. A little later in life, we're going to have the signs to look for when it comes to scoliosis. Plus, gotta check out that forecast, and yeah, I did say snow earlier. It is a possibility. Details when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:16 now on this Tuesday morning, and we are starting with the wind. We have wind advisories across I totally forgot to update that. Ignore that, okay? They run through at least 8 o'clock tonight. I will fix that, I promise. I'm getting the coffee going. We'll get that done. The wind advisories, though, we have wind gusts out of the south that could reach 50, maybe 55 miles an hour in some cases, with sustained winds at 20 to 30, which is why we have red flag warnings for everyone except Benton County, but still doesn't mean it's any safer to burn in Benton County than anywhere else. But again, no outdoor burning. You can't be discarding cigarettes from your car or anything like that. But you also, if you're on a construction site or you're towing a trailer, you got chains back there, anything that could possibly make a spark, you've got to be extra cautious with, because in this wind, once again, it will not take much for a fire to ignite, let alone spread very quickly. And we're mostly clear right now. We'll eventually be partly cloudy, even maybe periods of mostly cloudy skies here and there. The south winds gusting very, very high today, and that'll put our temperatures again well above normal. We should be 60, and there's not a single 60 on this map right now. In fact, we could even see some highs into the low 80s in some of our southern counties. Now, let's talk about Wednesday. Wednesday's where it gets a little interesting. See the swirling emotion taking place with these wind arrows? It's because there's a low pressure system just off to our northwest. Last week, it was a low pressure system that drove in those very gusty winds. Same situation this time, but last week, that low pressure came with an attendant severe threat. Not the case for us this time, but it does bring some interesting things, which can still happen this time of year. That just doesn't happen often. We're going to have early highs Wednesday. And then temperatures, thankfully, will not plummet, but they will begin to fall as we head into the afternoon. So we'll be starting upper 50s, some low 60s tomorrow morning. And then by noon, we're into the 40s, and clouds begin to increase. West winds, as that low pressure tracks to the east. Again, the flow around the low pressure is counterclockwise, so those winds will begin to circle back out of the west. Still gusting upwards of 50, maybe 55 miles an hour. And then showers start building in. And as we go into the later evening hours and temperatures fall back a little more, that's snow. It's still there. It's still showing up. And as you see, future track catching up now on the temperature side, starting to line up with that possibility of some light snow as we go late tomorrow afternoon, late evening tomorrow into the early overnight hours. Light snow will be possible, and our temperatures get pretty darn cold out there compared to where we have been. No accumulations expected from this snow, but nonetheless, we could see some. That does mean we're going to start the day on Thursday a little bit colder, but worry not. We'll get back to seasonable temperatures. The problem with seasonable temperatures compared to where we have been is, as you see, it's a little slower to get there, but we do eventually make mid to upper 50s, so maybe a little below average for us. We're going to start our day low 60s, partly cloudy, very windy, eventually near 70 by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, ahead of highs, pushing close to 80 out there. Low 50s tonight, upper 50s 50s, low 60s to start tomorrow. Then temperatures falling. We'll be near average Thursday, a little warmer as we head into the weekend. A few showers Friday, maybe a few morning thunderstorms on Sunday. Temperatures next week start off reasonable, and then they start to warm right back up into the upper 70s. Let's check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Well, topping Health Watch this morning, it's a common spinal condition. Scoliosis affects an estimated 7 million people in the U.S., according to the National Scoliosis Foundation. Now, if left untreated, the condition can worsen, causing significant pain and may even impact the function of some vital organs. Mandy Gaither talks to an orthopedic surgeon about the scoliosis signs every patient should know.
It's an abnormal curving of the spine that often appears in the shape of the letters S or C. Scoliosis is common, but for most people, the cause is unknown.
The majority of scoliosis patients don't have significant pain or discomfort.
Orthopedic surgeon Dr. Nicholas Fletcher with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta says in the beginning that's part of the problem. Oftentimes, mild scoliosis doesn't have symptoms, and many cases may not require immediate treatment. But if the spinal condition worsens and is left untreated, experts say it can cause chronic back pain, impact heart and lung function, and affect self-esteem. That's why early detection through screening is critical.
One of the challenges with screening is that the children who are most likely to get scoliosis are typically between the ages of 10 and 15.
Fletcher says parents of children in that age range don't often see their children's bare back, so he says they need to be diligent in looking for warning signs, including uneven tops of shoulders, one shoulder blade more prominent or visible than the other, one hip appearing higher, one side of the rib cage higher than the other when bending forward, or changes in the shape of the spine.
We recommend screening in the 6th and the 8th grade because those are typically the times at which children are growing the fastest.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Well, Dr. Fletcher says the most important thing for parents to do is make sure children see their pediatrician every year to be screened for scoliosis or monitored if mild scoliosis is detected. There are often screenings done in schools as well. The health department is going after major food companies in an effort to ban artificial dyes. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. called on several companies, including PepsiCo, Kellogg, and Kraft Heinz, to remove artificial dyes and colorants from the food supply. Now, in his first meeting with top food executives, Kennedy said he wants to get, quote, the worst ingredients out of the food system as they pose a health risk. Now, the FDA banned red dye number 3 from use in food products and medications earlier this year. Studies showed high doses of red number 3 led to the development of tumors in male rats. Researchers have found no link between COVID vaccination during pregnancy and birth defects. Now, they examined more than 78,000 pregnancies that were detailed in insurance claims. Now, in total, more than 1,200 birth defects were found in unvaccinated women, and just shy of 200 birth defects were found in vaccinated women. Researchers said the COVID vaccine is, well, a heartwarming.
After a long winter's nap, Baki the bear has bounced back from a life-saving surgery.
His recovery's been amazing, just what we were hoping for.
The 3-year-old was having seizures last year. So vets gave him an MRI scan that showed fluid on his brain. Surgeons prepared for a 6-hour operation to save him.
Yeah, it's different where they go in because of the anatomy.
In October, doctors put a stent between his brain and his abdomen to flush out the fluid and gave him pain medicine to take the edge off while he recovered.
He's come out, he's done all the things he should be doing, eating grass, exploring the place, been really quite lively.
Baki's struggles started long before surgery. He was rejected by his mother as a cub at a wild animal reserve before being adopted by a wildlife park in England, where devoted keepers are now working to get him back up to size. He's lost more than 60 pounds since going under the knife.
He'll slowly put on weight, but it's like a real psychological and physical reset for them. It's a real healing process.
Doctors say Baki's brave battle has paid off. He's now symptom-free and able to bear the journey ahead. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Now, the surgeon who operated on Baki's brain had only done the surgery once before on a black bear in Asia 12 years ago, who's believed to be the first bear in the world to have had brain surgery. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got another very windy day. Red flag warnings and wind advisories in place. Another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, the Carthage Public Library hosts a movie day for kids of all ages.
And we've got a very windy day across the area. Once again, red flag warnings in place. A look at that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Heritage Trail in Joplin unveils 2 new additions to its legacy project.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is it's Tuesday,
Yes,
March the 18th. I do love what we do every day because we have so much fun while we do it, and we can easily make fun of each other sometimes too, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, make fun of yourselves too.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you absolutely have to. I can't. You guys at home. I've been here on the mornings now 3 years. I think I've made enough mistakes. Nobody's perfect, all right, but we try. It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Studio just makes me sound like I'm dying sometimes.
It does. The coughs. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's. I don't know. We'll have to have it investigated at some point. Could be a poltergeist.
Let's get one of our reporters on it.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we need to do. We're going to dive deep into what's going on down here. And while we figure out whatever it is in this studio, let's talk about what's happening outside with the weather. A quick look downtown Pittsburgh. Got a few clouds here and there. Skies clear over Pittsburgh right now, and clear skies. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin. Now, on to the part that is serious, all right? We do have the red flag warnings for everybody except Benton County. That does not mean it's safer to burn down there than anywhere else. They just don't have a red flag warning in place. These run through at least 10 o'clock again tonight. No outdoor burning. And the other things we mentioned, construction jobs especially, a small spark could easily ignite a blaze, and those hauling trailers or anything, you got chains back there, anything that can drag on the road and create sparks is a giant hazard as well, because again, we have the conditions in place. It won't take much for one of these fires to ignite, let alone spread quickly. Wind advisories across the entire region through at least 8 o'clock tonight, and that's again because we're going to have these winds out of the south gusting 50, possibly 55 miles an hour at times. Sustained winds 20 to 30 on their own, so another very breezy day. Now, unlike last Friday, the winds didn't really start to escalate till the afternoon. They've already started to ramp up this morning. We have a mix of partly to occasionally mostly cloudy skies, very windy, and our temperatures well above normal again. Some of us maybe even the low 80s out there, and our temperatures right now warmer than what our average high should be. 63, both Joplin and Pittsburgh, and across the region, here's what those temperatures look like. Low to mid 60s, even some upper 60s, and that's the crazy things. Miami Grove, for example, you two were a couple of the coldest locations yesterday at 32. It's a 30-plus degree warm-up from yesterday morning out there. Temperatures, again, upper 70s, some low 80s, partly cloudy skies, south winds gusting 50, maybe 55 miles an hour at times, so again, no outdoor burning. As we head into tomorrow, temperatures start to fall back a bit. We could even see some snow. Yeah, snow. And we'll talk about that with you in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the Carthage Public Library invited kids of all ages out for a movie yesterday. Now, it was part of the spring break at the library program. In addition to the movie, kids could also enjoy free popcorn, candy, and drinks. The library also encouraged moviegoers to dress in costume.
Because there's such a need. Our children need something to do that is somewhat educational. You know, we want them to use the library, but we want them to know the library offers so much more than just coming in to check out books.
In addition to the books, the library has a full week of events planned to celebrate spring break. On Tech Tuesday, the kids can come out and play with some robots. Wednesday features an all-ages story time, and on Thursday, the library is planning a book tasting featuring author Roland Smith. Well, the 2024 Officer of the Year is a member of the Parsons, Kansas Police Department, receiving the honor for a second time. Sergeant Detective Bryce Dickens received the honor from the veterans of Foreign Wars Post 704. Sergeant Dickens played a pivotal role in a multi-agency effort targeting the illegal distribution of narcotics in southeast Kansas. The VFW Post says by honoring Sergeant Dickens for a second time, it acknowledges the lasting impact he has had on crime reduction, community engagement, and investigative success. Well, the city of Joplin unveiled some new additions to its legacy project called the Heritage Trail. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more about these two storyboards.
It's important, I think, for every community to know and preserve its history.
Michael Apfel is John C. Cox's great-great-grandson, and he says it's a huge honor.
It's history. And to do this for John C. Cox and his family was just, wow, I could have knocked us over with a feather. I mean, it really means a lot.
One of the storyboards the city of Joplin has added to their legacy projects tells the story of John C. Cox, who the director of the Joplin Convention and Visitors Bureau says was one of the earliest settlers of Joplin.
Very excited about it. Like I said, we had an old metal marker here is all it was, and this actually tells the story of John C. Cox and why he came here and what he did, the role he played in Joplin's history. He's basically the father of Joplin.
Very, very generous, loved the people here, the community, and was just a really good guy.
Some of John C. Cox's family members were in attendance to see the unveiling of the storyboard, which is placed closely to the very house that he lived in.
Original structure, and then in the 40s, the backside of the house was added on.
The second storyboard added is called The Unrest. The director of the Joplin Convention and Visitors Bureau says it's about the tensions that existed between mining camps.
There was a time in what was called the Kansas City Bottoms, by where the Union Depot is, was a very rough area, and months and months of unrest happened in the Joplin here.
They both encourage people to read the storyboards to learn more about Joplin history.
You have to know how things started.
Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now, those are the 8th and 9th Heritage Trail markers to be added to the project. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A recent expedition documents over 800 new species, including one that looks like a guitar. Plus, Israel ramps up its attack against Hamas as hostage release stalls. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Well, topping World Watch, Israel launches a new round of strikes against Hamas. Now, the country also promising to ramp up security forces. This coming after talks to release more hostages stalled, with Hamas rejecting all offers given from U.S. presidential envoy Steve Witkoff and mediators. Now, the strike comes almost 2 months after a ceasefire that paused this 17-month-long war. And Iran says the U.S. is sending a contradictory and inconsistent message regarding politics and nuclear talks. Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson says the country will respond to President Trump's invitation to talk after proper scrutiny, but that a diplomatic response was in the works. Iran's supreme leader and president indicated they feel Trump's recent actions toward Iran are deceptive. Now, Trump withdrew from a deal between Iran and major powers during his first term that placed limits on its nuclear activities in exchange for sanction relief. Now, the U.S. reimposed sanctions, and Iran ramped up its development of its nuclear program, which it says is for peaceful purposes. And a lawmaker in France says his country should take back the Statue of Liberty from the United States. The center-left political Raphael Glucksman says the U.S. no longer represents the values that led France to gift the world-famous monument. Glucksman has become a prominent figure in the increasingly powerful leftist alliance in France. He says the United States has chosen to side with tyrants. The lawmakers says the U.S. despises the landmark and Lady Liberty would be, quote, just fine here at home. Glucksman made his comments at a time when the Trump administration's policies are raising concerns about its commitment to its European allies. Now, there's more evidence that consumers remain leery to spend. Retail sales increased by an anemic 0.2% last month. The sales actually fell for discretionary items, including cars, electronics purchases, and eating out. Janet Shamlian went to Chicago to find out.
We went to Ma O'Brien's in Chicago.
You have to drink Guinness today.
Where the St. Patrick's Day party started early, and the trade war with Europe was top of mind.
Guinness comes from Ireland.
President Trump has threatened tariffs as high as 200% on European wines, spirits, and beer.
What's your level of concern about the tariffs?
If there's massive tariffs put on, then unfortunately we will have to pass those along to our customers.
A pint of Guinness is $7 here.
Another Guinness?
O'Brien says tariffs could force an increase to $9.
Would you be willing to pay a lot more for those beers if there were tariffs on them?
I don't know, probably not.
President Trump's threatened tariff is in response to the EU's plan for a 50% tax on U.S. whiskey imports, which itself is in retaliation to Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. The tit for tat has cost the stock market nearly $4 trillion in the last month and has major retailers like Dollar General and Target warning of a spending slowdown.
Some of us drink a half at a time.
O'Brien, who moved to the U.S. from Ireland, hopes the trade war doesn't damage the friendship.
Today's the high holiday. The reason I opened Ma O'Brien's was because I wanted to bring a slice of Ireland to a small neighborhood in Chicago. So this would be a little painful if we had to raise prices on our Irish stock, essentially.
And painful for customers as well. Several telling me they voted for President Trump, but right now they are very concerned about the economy. And even a small increase in the price of something like a pint might make them rethink how often they come out to a pub like this. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Chicago.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's about to be 5:46 now on this Tuesday morning. We got the wind to talk about, and it's going to be ramping right back up. In fact, it's already starting to early this morning. And last Friday, it took a minute before those winds really increased, and then they took off. They're already doing that this morning. Wind advisories through at least 8 o'clock tonight because, again, those wind gusts anywhere from 50 to 55 miles an hour out of the south. Now, here's the deal. These wind gusts continue into tonight and tomorrow as well. That's why, again, red flag warnings for just about everybody through at least 10 o'clock tonight. So, again, no outdoor burning, no discarding cigarettes. I know it sounds like a broken record, but in all honesty, I mean, we had those 2 fires in our area last week. One was very devastating up in the Yates Center area. A number of fires across central Oklahoma, which were devastating on their own. We just do not want that to happen again. We want to keep everyone safe. We want to keep you safe. We want you to help keep your neighbors safe. So just be responsible over the next few days, because even though the winds will ease up a wee bit, it'll still be breezy all the way through at least Friday across the area. Tuesday, here we are. We're going to be partly cloudy, maybe brief moments of mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures should be 60 degrees. They're not. They're well above that. In fact, some of us may even reach highs into the low 80s. So we're talking about 20 degrees warmer than where we should be for this time of year. And so that's the thing, though, is when we actually settle back into normal temperatures, as we've done a couple of times, it makes it feel a lot colder because our normal temperature is 20 degrees cooler than this. Overnight tonight, still breezy out of the south. Winds will begin to switch on us because that low pressure system, that's what brought us the gusty winds last week. Not the same one, of course, but the same setup. Had that low pressure system brought the very gusty winds. They will continue into Wednesday. They'll begin to shift out of the west. And the other thing about Wednesday is we're going to have early highs, upper 50s and low 60s, and then temperatures will begin to fall through the day. And by noon, we're back into the 40s for most of us. We have that west wind gusting, then showers begin to roll in. Clouds increase. We'll have some showers, and as temperatures continue to fall into the late evening hours, we could see a transition to some light snow. Now, we're not expecting any accumulations. We're not really going to be set up for anything like that, but don't be surprised if you see a little light snow late tomorrow across the area because that's just how Mother Nature is playing us right now. In fact, off to our north and west, there are winter storm watches and blizzard warnings in some cases off to our northwest because of the winds and the heavy snow. As we go to Thursday, much colder start, but believe it or not, a little closer to normal. That's what I'm saying. We get so spoiled when we get back to normal, it feels a heck of a lot colder out there. By noon Thursday, we're in the low 40s, and we'll eventually get close to normal, a little below, as we head into Thursday afternoon. Starting our day, low 60s, and again, that's about where our highs should be. We'll be near 70 by 11 o'clock this morning, partly cloudy, and of course, very windy. Gusts to 50, sustained winds 20 to 30, and those highs upper 70s, maybe some low 80s. Into the evening, a very mild evening. Temperatures do drop back a bit, in the low 50s tonight. And we'll go winds still gusting to 50 out of the south. Those 50, 55 mile an hour wind gusts continue tomorrow. The early highs, temperatures falling back into the 30s. A little cooler Thursday. We warm back up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Showers Friday, maybe a few morning storms on Sunday. Back near normal on Monday, and then temperatures warm right back up in the second half of next week. Let's check out your forecast. We are back with more right after this.
Well, a massive effort to document marine life worldwide revealed hundreds of new species and counting, including one shark that quite literally rocks. Jerry Roth has today's. Take a look at this.
An ambitious global effort to discover new marine life is paying off big time, shedding light on more than 800 newly documented species, including one guitar-shaped shark headlining the bill. A 10-year mission called the Ocean Census has been underway since 2023, and its first major update on 10 expeditions spanning the globe with divers, piloted submersibles, and remote vehicles announced 866 discovered species deemed brand new to science, including a deep-sea limpet, a venomous gastropod, and a teeny-tiny pipe horse. But it's this newly found species of guitar shark that stole the show, so named for its, well, shape of a guitar. Found off Mozambique and Tanzania, the discovery of this threatened species was music to explorers' ears. Another rare discovery, this one in Iowa, where workers at Ashton Creek Farms were expecting an expecting cow to deliver twins, but instead got triplets. Experts say births like these are very rare, to the tune of 1 in 105,000 for 3 calves to be born, survive, and be accepted by the mother. So yes, very rare indeed. I mean, not super rare, but let's call it like medium rare. Whoop, sorry. Finally, from rare to just plain weird, yet another oddly shaped Cheeto is up for auction, this one in the familiar shape of his airness, Michael Jordan. Hot on the heels of the Pokemon-shaped Cheeto that someone paid nearly $90,000 for, Golden Auctions is hoping to once again cash in on this rare cheesy oddity. I swear, Chester Cheetah must be rolling over in his grave. I don't believe Chester Cheetah's dead. Yes, but I would imagine the shock of this story would kill him. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
How about that? We'll stick around. We'll be right back. Well, a city in the United States has made a top 10 list for the best food around the world. New Orleans came in at the #1 spot. The global survey was released by Time Out, and more than 18,000 people participated. The Louisiana city is known for its diverse culinary blend of French, Spanish, Vietnamese, and African influences. Bangkok, Thailand came in at #2, while Medellin, Colombia was #3, and Paris came in at #9. Well, antique investors went back to a traditional dazzling commodity this week to rescue their market fears, and it sent it to record heights. Gold set a record high price Friday. The precious metals commodity skated past the $3,000 an ounce mark for the first time ever before settling back down by the end of Friday.
Now we've got a very windy day out there. Red flag warnings across the area, wind advisories across the areas. We'll have those gusts out of the south pushing upwards of 50, maybe 55 miles an hour. So again, no outdoor burning. If you're doing any kind of outdoor work, just be cautious with anything that could create sparks because it won't take much to start a fire, and with these winds, it won't take much for it to get out of control. Low 60s to start, upper 60s by 11 o'clock this morning. Partly cloudy skies, maybe some moments of mostly cloudy skies. Our highs, again, well above average. average. We should be 60. We're going to be upper 70s and low 80s. South winds, by the way, sustained at 20 to 30. And then you get those gusts, 50, maybe 55. Those winds remain gusty overnight, mild through the evening, back into the 50s tonight, still partly cloudy. And we'll start off mostly clear on Wednesday. Temperatures, though, begin to drop through the day as the low pressure approaches. Winds remain gusty, then switching out of the west. And they'll still be gusting upwards of 50, 55 miles an hour. Showers possible, and as temperatures drop, we even could see some late evening snow. Won't add up to anything, which is good news, but don't be surprised if you see some flakes flying. Colder Wednesday night, cooler on Thursday, back above normal Friday, Saturday, and even Sunday. Showers Friday, a few morning storms Sunday. Cool again on Monday, and temperatures warm up again next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.